In the car with a different microphone today. Look at that. What do you think? It's going to bounce around a lot. It's not a very heavy one. But, oh dear, it's going to bounce around a whole lot. Oh my God! That's not going to work out too well. So I need something a little, it's got to be heavy. It's got to be heavy. Wow. That was nice. There we go. Maybe we can do that. And then get our locking nut here. Still going to bounce around a lot, I bet. But that's okay. This is, it's all experimental, man. It is all experimental. But I'm driving. Chillicothe in it right now. I got the stop sign, buddy. Everybody always tries to, like, get ahead. Everybody wants to get that extra half a second. You ever notice, like, when you're on the highway or when you're trying to go somewhere, you will have these people that just speed past you. Bounce, bounce, bounce. You'll have these people that just speed past you. And at the end of the day, they're getting there 1 to 5 seconds before you. So, I mean, it's like, they're not even really doing anything, you know? Seriously, like a few seconds quicker, which is just ridiculous. This big old pop filter also feels a bit ridiculous. I think I might take that out of there. It's a little too big. We'll just take it all the way out. We'll just do that. Then we'll put a windy on. That should help us out quite a bit, maybe, I guess. So anyways, you get these people, they fly around you just to get there a second or two quicker. It doesn't make sense. Like, unless you're going a long distance, the difference between 65 and 75 is not much. I mean, you're driving, what? If you got to drive 60 miles, right? Let's say it's my drive, which is 30. My drive is 30 miles, and I will drive 30 miles at 60 miles an hour. I should get there to half an hour, right? If I drive there 65, you're extra 5 miles per hour, 2.5 miles sooner. What are you really cutting off there, I mean, long distances, yeah, speed matters. Short distances, not so much. Whatever. Anyways, driving. I love when it's daytime and you can still see the moon. Like, the moon is just plain as day. Just makes me think I'm on, like, Planet Hoth or something from Star Wars. I don't even know if you can see the moon on Planet Hoth. I'm not quite that much of a geek. I'm close. I'm real close. But I'm not quite that much of a geek. This is a condenser microphone. I'm very curious to see if we get the same level of background noise. And this isn't going to be the greatest episode in the world, just in case the background noise is too much, which it could be. It very well could be. But let's talk a little bit. I want to talk about Hollywood. I want to talk about the fact that when I grew up in the 90s, makes me sound old, feel old. It's not that long ago, but it is, kind of. But back then, Hollywood stars were just a big thing. A massive thing. Movies were just a massive thing. And I know that, like, Marvel movies and Avatar and some of those things, Star Wars, they make the big bucks, right? But back in my day, I would watch any Kevin Spacey movie that came out. I know. This is where I'm going with this. The sickos of Hollywood. How we hold people up on pedestals only to find out that they're pieces of shit. But I watch K-Pax, for God's sakes. I owned it on DVD. If you don't know what that is, it's a movie where Kevin Spacey's an alien, but he don't look like an alien. I don't even remember much of the premise. I think it was just him trying to convince people that he was an alien. No one was being convinced. This semi is hell-bent on making sure I don't get around him. All right, buddy, you got a big truck. You just keep trucking. But Kevin Spacey, Brad Pitt, just, a lot of guys, Michael Douglas, Catherine Zeta-Jones. I didn't make that connection just because of that. But Elizabeth Hurley. I'm trying to think of women that men and women I watched in movies specifically. Adam Sandler, of course. Happy Gilmore, one of my all-time favorite movies. Just doesn't get any better than that. Shooter McGavin, best villain of all time. All time. In my eyes. But, I mean, these guys and girls in Hollywood, they were huge. And now the Kardashians are huge. And Mr. Beast is huge. And Dude Perfect is huge. YouTube personalities, the last two that I named, in case you're not much into YouTube. But Pete Davidson, people tend to be in movies and tend to be in productions after they've gotten famous through some other means, it seems. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. But now, like the stars, which I think is kind of cool, the stars are us. Not me, but us people. Us content creators. Us influencers. Instagram models. YouTubers. Twitch streamers. That's not all of them. Granted, none of us are going to be up for a Grammy or an Emmy or a Oscar. But we've really cut into Hollywood. We really have. Like, there's so many people. Now I don't know who anyone is. Timothy Chalamet, I just kind of put a face to the name. I just don't know anything about him. And there's a lot of people like that I just don't know anything about. Because I've lost touch, because with the streaming landscape we're currently on, we only see movie trailers at the movies or maybe on a streaming platform that supports ads. Because used to be, we would see all the movie trailers on cable or on antenna, channel 3, 6, 8, 13, 10, sometimes the 30s. But that's where we would see movie advertisements, trailers. I don't see them anywhere now, unless I look them up. So most of the movies that come out, I'm like, I don't even know what that is. I don't have a clue what that is. So I don't watch them. Therefore, I don't know who the movie stars are. I don't know who the actors are. But at the same time, I kind of like that. Like, I like a good movie, but not as much as I used to. And I definitely don't trust. I shouldn't say that because it's entertainment. I shouldn't be overly concerned with who the human is behind the character. But I am, because fuck, what's the really gross guy that's in prison right now? Oh shit. It was the brothers. I really can't remember. But behind all the Miramax films, I think, behind all the Tarantino films, can't believe that guy's name is Weinstein, Bob Harvey Weinstein, one of those guys. Like, behind some of my favorite movies, I love Tarantino films, but I haven't seen the last few. I haven't seen The Hateful Eight. I haven't seen, was it Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? That's how bad I am with movies now. I just don't know. And yes, I have fallen susceptible to the Marvel and Star Wars universes. Like, I don't know actors, but I do know characters. I think that's part of the draw of Marvel, and maybe the draw of Star Wars to a lesser extent, is like, we know those characters. Like, we've all heard of Hawkeye, we've all heard of Captain America, we've all heard of Iron Man, we've all heard of most of these characters, so we don't really care who's playing them. We know something about that universe. But like movies that come out, unless it's a reboot, which has gotten so bad, so bad. I think that Timothy Chalamet, I could be wrong on this too, but I think I saw something about a new Willy Wonka movie. Like, fuck, why? Why? Like, Hollywood really has nothing new, but yet there's some new stuff, but for the most part, nothing new at all. So I tend to dip into that Marvel universe because it's familiar no matter what. When they announce a movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it's Kang as the villain, like, I know who Kang is. I'm familiar with comic books. I didn't read them a lot, but I'm familiar, and I know what kind of movie it's going to be. Therefore, I know it will be at least mildly enjoyable. Like, the worst Marvel movie, which in my opinion is Thor: Love and Thunder, is still watchable. That one barely watchable though, but it's still watchable. So, other movies, I don't know if it's going to be watchable. I watched, I love Keanu Reeves, and I watched some kind of movie about him and Winona Ryder at a wedding, and it was just all, I love dialogue, but it was just dialogue between those two talking outside of the wedding. Rarely did anyone from the wedding even get involved in the movie, which was a cool premise, but it was boring as shit. Super boring. John Wick, not boring. Can't wait for that one. New one, 4, whatever. John Wick 4. But it's, if I don't know anything about a movie, or if I don't see a trailer, like, there's no chance. Some of the best movies of the past 5 years, haven't even heard of. No idea what they're about. Problem with getting full-on adulthood, which I truly believe is 30s and 40s and beyond, of course, but bounce. But full-on adulthood, you end up watching shit you never would have dreamed of watching when you were in your teens and early 20s. Not even a little. I watch the shit out of baking shows. Like, I watch the absolute shit out of baking shows. Can't help it. My wife bakes. She makes cupcakes and shit. And she's kind of pulled me into that arena. So now it's all about audio gear, making a big piece of wood in the road. Hope there wasn't any nails in it. Anyways, nails. I'm all about my hobbies and her hobbies. So it's audio gear, video stuff. Not so much video, but I make them. So I guess, but smartphones are fine to me. I don't see the need to go with 4K and shit when you're just a talking head, a big one at that. But I watch a lot of baking shit. I watch a lot of, normal, everyday people on TV. Not reality shows, so to speak, even though baking kind of reality. I just don't care for much else. I watch some sitcoms. I watch, Ted Lasso is probably the greatest show I've ever seen in my life. I like the feel-good stuff. I like when you can come home from a bad day, and at the end of the evening, you can pop on something that's going to give you the feel-goods, because if you're not feeling good in life, what are you doing? Some people get off on fear and thrills. I don't like horror movies. I mean, they're okay. I kind of want to watch the Terrifier movies just to see how much I'll puke, because I am that guy. I probably would puke, no doubt about it. So I'm kind of curious on that. I kind of want to watch that shit. But I won't. I know I won't. I'd like to at least watch the first 5 minutes to see how it goes. But I just don't care about Hollywood. I don't care about actors. I don't care about actresses. I shit you not, if I saw, it doesn't matter who it is. There's one person that's super famous. One person's band, I should say, that I would probably be at least a little bit starstruck, and that's Dave Grohl, Pat Smear, Chris Shiflett, Nate Mendel, those guys. I would be a little starstruck because that band has a lot of history with my marriage. Me and my wife became avid Foo Fighter fans together. We were always fans, but we became hardcore fans together. So that, if I saw Dave Grohl, I wouldn't freak out. I would probably nod or wave or just, I'd probably have to get his attention somehow just to see that he recognizes me and that there was a moment there. I just want to look in your eyes, Dave. I just want to look in your eyes. But I don't do this when I'm recording like in a setting where I'm good. I don't do the ums and buttas and all that stuff, but here it's all about the butter. Rub some butter on it and butter. I would freak out over Dave Grohl internally. Anyone else I saw, famous or not. Maybe Drew Barrymore. God, I'm just going to keep adding people to the list. Maybe Kat Dennings. I just wouldn't even really acknowledge. I might double take because it's like, oh shit, there's Timothy Chalamet. I wouldn't say anything to him. I wouldn't want to be bothered if I was famous. I wouldn't want to be famous either. That would suck, honest to God. Like, you know, and some people I'd make sure not to look at. The Rock, he annoys the fuck out of me. I wouldn't even look at him. I'm sure he's an okay guy, but at the same time, I'm not sure he is. I don't care. You know, they're just humans. They're just people. People that are on film and on, yeah, a lot of us are on film in some way. Just not being viewed by millions upon millions like The Rock and Mark Wahlberg and Kim Kardashian, which isn't really on film. I don't know why I threw her name out there, but I just don't much care about all that. And so many of them just seem so entitled, just like everyday people. Everyday people are entitled too. You have the dude working at the fucking J.C. Penney that just thinks he's a badass because he's the manager. I'm the manager, motherfucker. Yeah. Samuel L. Jackson. Okay. Samuel L. Jackson I'd have to make eye contact with. The list is growing. I'm a hypocrite. But for the most part, seriously, I see a star out in public, I don't give a shit. Conan, okay, maybe Conan. maybe Jason Bateman. I don't know. There's a lot of people I really like. Dak Shepard, Kristen Bell. There's a lot of people that I enjoy a lot. But I really think I would not bug them. I wouldn't even bug Dave Grohl. I would just be hoping that, like, I might just fall down on purpose right by him to see if he'd help me up. And I'd be like, oh man, thank you, Dave Grohl. Thank you so much. I love your Foo Fighters. But for the most part, I just wouldn't care. You know, it's not a big deal. People worship is not something I get into. I think it's kind of silly. Yet everyone else seems to get very into it. No. And not to mention, a lot of people in Hollywood, and it extrapolates to the general public as well. But these people are on display, man. Kevin Spacey, Weinstein, Epstein, Ezra Miller, so many. Marilyn Manson, which, you know, apparently people are settling lawsuits left and right with him, and it doesn't look, you just don't know. You hate to judge because you don't 100% know, but I do like to live by the motto of where there's smoke, there's fire. So you got to lean in that 60%. Like, yeah, he probably did it. Yeah, he's probably sick. Or yeah, she's probably, fucked up. And a lot of those folks are, because they get that power from being famous. This is just me analyzing. Get that power from being famous. And they think they can do whatever they want. They think they can grab people and touch people and make them do what they want. Treat them as slaves and all that shit. All in the name of power and fame. So that has tainted Hollywood for me, just like football's been tainted for me. And most everything popular has seemingly been kind of tainted for me. I just don't really dig the famous shit. It gets old. I spend more time watching YouTube, like my audio gear, people that I love watching, and DIY folks, and baking. But I spend so much more time on real people than I do on Hollywood people. I'll never know anything about Brad Pitt, but I could very well potentially know something about, a Andrew Scott, who runs the podcast channel, who's famous in his own right because over 300,000 people subscribe to him. Is that famous? I don't know, but it's fame in its own right. And I can reach out and actually know who that guy is, and reach out and know who Tom Buck is, and get a feel for who they are as humans, and maybe create a human connection there. Hollywood? No. But you know what's funny? I love when people fall for the Hollywood scams. There was this woman in my hometown. I worked at a bank, and she would come in talking about how her and Paul Stanley are going to be together, and they've been talking online, And, she's been helping him out a little bit with money. And I'm like, are you fucking... You got to be kidding me, man. You've been helping Paul Stanley out financially. But you really believe it's Paul Stanley. You don't have a clue that it's a scam, but you've been helping Paul... Been sending Paul Stanley fucking Target gift cards because Paul Stanley fucking loves Massimo. He loves slapping a Massimo jacket on him. Fucking please send me Target gift cards, lady. I promise I'll stick my little Stanley in there whenever we meet. But send me the Target gift cards. Oh, damn. My Xbox Gold subscription, it expired. Can you give me some Xbox cards, lady? I'm Paul Stanley. I promise I'll play some riffs for you. Fucking come on, man. How did we get this gullible? It's the want. It's the wanting to be included in something. It's why I think the MAGA movement, not to get too political, but people with their MAGA stuff, I think that's they want to be a part of something. And they want to be a part of something that's powerful. And the things that are powerful in this country are money, fame, politics. That's, if you're part of something. To be part of anything else is on a lesser scale. Even if you're a big YouTube channel, you being a part of that doesn't quite feel as empowering, in my opinion, as being a part of political fame or some kind of money thing, some kind of wealth, power, fame trifecta. Yeah. It's weird. It's a weird world that we live in, but you either kind of separate from that or you don't. I feel like some people have the right idea and they live life looking for real experiences, and some people are destined to get into the virtual reality experiences and leave real world scenarios behind. So how long will it be, before what was it, Player One? Is that what that movie's called? Where they're all just kind of holed up in their metal sheds, playing online, playing virtual, being in the virtual world instead of the real one. Like, that shit's going to happen. It's going to happen. I mean, we already have gamers and YouTubers, and we are already sitting inside more than ever. So the natural progression of things is to eventually just be in virtual reality. It'll be a better world. It'll be less, things that happen there won't hurt physically. They'll still hurt emotionally. Oh, I guess they could hurt physically. I guess some guy created a VR headset that if you die in a game, it actually kills you. Don't think that'll be marketed anytime soon, but the Hunger Games is a real possibility too. Here I am going on movies. But that, it could happen. 2050, maybe we all accept the challenge of like, yeah, I'll play around to Call of Duty, and if a headshot occurs, my headset explodes. Sure, let's do it. I don't know. Anyways, anywhoozin'. This one's not going to drag on too much longer. There's going to be times where I'm in the car and what I talk about is absolute nonsense. I'll be pointing out certain trees, certain billboards. Like, I've never seen that DuckDuckGo billboard before. Like, DuckDuckGo, the web browser. They really want some business from Southern Ohio. DuckDuckGo. All right. Thank you guys yet again. Hanging out with me in the car. I talk so much my mouth is dry. I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully it's more entertaining. I'm sure this one was fine. The premise is me talking in the car. How bad can I fuck that up?